Alors bonjour, c'est Dr Laetitia. Comment allez-vous? Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler encore du passé composé. Le passé composé. After the last test, some of you asked me for more help on explaining how to use the passé composé. You had a section in the test where they were asking you to put the verb in the passé composé. Now remember, passé composé means compound past or composed past. It just means that the verb form is composed, and it's composed of two things, a helping verb and a past participle. Make sure you study the past participle of all verbs, the ER verbs, IR verbs, the RE verbs. Make sure you study and memorize their past participle form. It's easy for regular verbs. ER verbs will end in E with an accent, accent aigu. IR verbs will end in I. The RE verbs will end in U. But then when you have irregular verbs, that's when it becomes a little bit more interesting, I would say. So please make sure that you study these. You take the time. Whenever you study a new verb, take the time to study how to form the past participle. So remember again, you need two things to form the passé composé. And you have different types of verbs in the passé composé. You have some verbs that are going to take avoir as their helping verb, and you're going to have other verbs that will take être as their helping verb. In this particular example, in your test, that section was solely about être verbs or to be verbs, or the Dr. and Mrs. Van der Tramp verbs. These verbs that take être to form their past participle and to form their passé composé, actually. So when you have partir, it's one of them. It's one of the Dr. and Mrs. Van der Tramp verb. It's an intransitive verb, meaning it does not take a direct object. It's, it's one of these verbs that you just have to memorize to know, okay, when I see this verb, I know it takes être to form the passé composé. And in that case, what needed to be done was when you see quand nous, that's your subject here, that's your verb in the infinitive form, and you have to put it in the passé composé. So what do? Let me try that color. Partir takes être. The new form for être is some. Okay? And then the past participle for partir is, it's IR verb, right? So you'll say parti. Now, I was really hoping for a better pen. Now, one more thing you have to think about, when you use passé composé with être, the past participle agrees with the subject, right? Here we have a plural subject. We don't know the gender. We don't know if it's feminine or masculine, but we know it's plural. It's us, we, right? So therefore, the past participle parti will agree and have an S at the end. Nous sommes partis. Quand nous sommes partis à l'aéroport, when we left for the airport, okay, then we have the new subject, ma valise. I mean, every new verb, every new subject, or each subject has to have a verb to perform, to be the action, right? So ma valise, and then I have rester, another to be verbs. All of them actually are to be verbs, right? So rester, it's an ER verb. The past participle is going to end with an accent aigu, right? And then I'm going to have to make it match ma valise. Ma valise, I have a hint. It's feminine because of ma, telling me that it's a feminine subject, right? So, and it's singular. It's the it form. My suitcase. It stayed at my house. So, ma valise est, okay, resté. And here it is. Resté is going to have to be feminine because ma valise is feminine. Right? Ma valise est restée à la maison. My suitcase stayed home. Is that helpful? To be verbs, the past participle agrees in gender and number with the subject. Past participle, here, subject, here, or here. Nous is the subject, ma valise is the subject. In this sentence, nous sommes and then retourner, la prendre, nous is your subject, okay? So, and we have a, plural form of the subject. So retourner is going to have to be plural in the past participle form. So we would have nous sommes and then retourner. I'll just make it plural because I do not have a gender for it. Nous sommes retournés la prendre. And interestingly, la prendre here, this la, okay, I'm going to circle this one in, let me try green. Just a hint on what I'm going to explain later. La stands for what? It stands for ma valise. Now, be careful. Here, ma valise is the subject of the verb rester. But in this sentence, nous sommes retournés prendre what? Ma valise. So in that sentence, valise is the direct object. It is the DO. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Is that helpful? The past participle agrees in gender and number with the subject when it comes for to-be verbs. Study your to-be verbs. Make sure you know you have the list of them. Dr. Mrs. Van der Trent verb. D for descendre. R for rester. M for monter. And you keep going. Those of you who like to have a picture in your mind, remember that there's you can make a little story of people arriving in a house, going upstairs, going downstairs, turning or returning, passing by. All of these verbs that express emotion where the entire body is in motion or in lack of motion, like for the verb to die. All of these verbs, they take être as their helping verb. So I'm hoping that this was helpful. Let me know. À bientôt.